part that I love. Getting folks together, getting you in the room, seeing you invest in yourself, seeing you pull out success, and knowing that I may have been an impact in that some way down the line, whether it was a referral, sitting across the table from you, a phone call, some advice, whatever it was. If I could be an impact and make it where that you are bettering yourselves or you're winning, then guess what? We're all winning. So again, a little bit about the company. We got about 20 employees. My partner over in the corner somewhere, he said I talk too much, but you know, again. So we have about 20 on staff, all minority. What else? Commercial, residential, investor friendly, you name it, we do it. Again, the biggest thing is this right here, which is the part that I enjoy. From there, I'm going to pass it over to Ms. Asia Denson, and she'll be able to tell you about herself and welcome you guys in.
That's so nice. Alright, what up though, y'all? Thank y'all for coming. I heard a lot of people find out from word of mouth, so shout out to y'all for spreading the good gospel. You know about what we're about to do up here. So thank y'all for coming. I'm Asia Denson. I'm a licensed general contractor. I've been in business since 2010. I teach people how to invest in Detroit. We teach people how to invest in Detroit, I should say, all over the country. We done did stuff in Brooklyn, we done did Orlando, we done did Oakland, California, and a lot of other places that I can't remember right now. But thank y'all for coming. I definitely appreciate being here. Deshawn?
What up, though? What up, though? What up, Deshawn Wilson, I'm owner of Duke Investments and Associates. Emma and Asia are my partners. Did 21 years in the military. I'm kind of like a real subject matter expert in VA loans. I am also a developer for 3 Square Architecture. Is anyone familiar with the Detroit Shipping Company? We built that. Yeah. We wanted to make sure that we introduce anything and everything that we can to get your deals funded. It's always, no matter what idea you have in your head, no matter what you want to do, it all comes down to what? Funding, right? Funding. So we brought some funding gurus in that's going to tell you some of the criteria that you're going to need to fund your deal. A lot of people get hung up on credit, but sometimes you don't need credit. Now I say that, let me say that, Lord, sometimes you don't need credit. But that's what the purpose of an LLC is, S Corp, or C Corp, and an S Corp, right? Because your social security number is 9 digits. How many digits is your EIN? So you got to build your what? You got to build your business credit. So that's totally separate. The LLC just protects what? It protects your personal assets, right? That's why it's called limited liability. So I did, like I said, I did 21 years in the military. I worked for Naval Construction Mobile Battalion, so that's why cargo architecture. Anybody familiar with cargo architecture? Innovative design is cargo. So what we do is we take cargo, shipping containers, 20-footers and 40-footers, and convert them into residential and commercial properties. It's new. The city has approved us. We just got approved for a $77 million deal. You know what I'm saying? And that's big thing. That's doing big for the city. And we also have a product that we just launched last month called Home, H-O-U-M. It's being built right now. If you have a good memory, 3013 Cochran. It's over in Corktown. It's actually being built right now. And we use SIP panels. Anybody familiar with SIP panels?
You got a guy over there.
So SIP panels is a big, huge piece of styrofoam, but it's all weather tested and fire resistant. And what it is, and we are able to build your home probably in about 6 to 8 months. The life expectancy of the homes that we're building right now, because it's innovative design, is about 400 years. The foam that we use and the styrofoam that we use is what we call a thermal barrier. You know, usually when you put something in the wall, you have to put a padding or some type of insulation inside the walls, right? But with these, you don't have to do that. So there's zero thermal barrier in between these walls. And right now, Asia, what is about square footage per square foot for a house right now? At least 220, 230. We can get that down to about 180. The reason why I'm saying all this is because you're going to go buy now we all got fix and flippers. How many people fix and flip and hold? But this, why would you pay a $1,600 mortgage or something like that when you can get something brand new and built from the ground up? Just makes sense. You come and talk to us at 3 Square We have about 35 projects going on right now, and we build all over the country. So if you got family members or whatever, or even overseas, you just hit me up, and I'll keep the running my mouth all night. But the most important part is our panelists. I'll turn it back over to Emma. We'll have a little question and answer at the end if you want to get with me and talk to me about, VA loans. Right now, what's the best thing about VA loans? No money down, no PMI. They lifted the cap, and now all veterans can build up to a fourplex. So it makes no sense to build a single-family home if you got a VA loan. Live in one unit and rent the other 3 out, live in there 365 days, sell that unit, and then watch this on repeat and do it again. Right? Thank you so much for your attention. Emma? Thank you.
Thank you, Deshawn. Thank you, Asia. You got anything else to add before we jump into my panel? Okay. So again, as I stated, the whole goal behind this is to bring those resources to you guys as a community, making things that are available for you to excel in whatever it is that you're doing, whether it's buying, flipping, investing, pulling out debt consolidation, whatever it is. And what's important for us is bringing awareness to those that are right in our back. Can you hear me? Can you hear me now? Where the other mic at?
There we go.
What's important for us is bringing those that are right in our backyard to the forefront. What do I mean by that? You guys have probably been to a real estate event with this gentleman. You may have sat at the bar with him and didn't even know it. This guy here, you was probably at the club with and didn't know it. So what you're doing, and you're laughing, but I'm serious. You're looking for lenders out of state. You're looking for lenders probably in the burbs, not knocking the burbs, I love the burbs. Or you're looking for brokers that's finding lenders out of state to do your type of deals. But they don't understand 48226, that lender that you're going to. Or they don't understand the land bank property. Or they don't understand that there's other building permits and there's things that need to take place in our city. And the reason why is because what? They don't live in our city. So for me, it's important to bring those that live in our city, have walked our streets, gone to our schools, lived on those blocks, drove down those blocks, to say, hey, I got the same product. And when you come to me and you talk to me about 48226, I'm gonna be like, you know what, we need to move this way. We need to pivot versus wasting your time having you pay for an appraisal fee, having you pay for an inspection, having you pay for a upfront application for them to tell you out of state, oh, now we can't do the loan. Well, damn, you couldn't tell me that before I dropped the 5 Gs? So if you come local and you come with these knowledgeable guys, and I tell you, I sat at the table with them. I've done the loans. I know what they can do. And they didn't pay me to say that. But I'm just saying that to say for us, it's important to say, let's get the funding tips. Let's get the funding portfolio. Let's find out from the guys that have walked down Rosini, from the guys that lived on Patton. Let's find out from them, what do we need to do to set ourselves up to be able to get some of these loans that you got out here? Because I'm going to tell you, I'm not going to tell you who, but one of them told me there was no minimum loan amount. And you know, I heard first it was 100,000, then they said 50,000, then I was getting a 10. He said, no, you ain't got to have no minimum loan amount. I said, what? You know, so for me, I felt like we have an audience that needs to know about that. So that's what we're going to do tonight. Again, y'all know I can go on this mic. So with that being said, I'm going to introduce, and then I'm going to give the mic to Eli. He'll do his spiel, he'll pass it on, and then we'll just dive right into how can they help you get to the finish line. Make sense? All right, so here we have Eli Gonzalez. He's with EG Home Loans. He'll be speaking tonight. He'll tell us how long he's been in the business and all that good stuff. We have Derek Thompson with Scopo Mortgage. He'll talk to us. And then we also have Ed Williams with Black Equity Lending. Black Equity Lending. So I'm going to pass the mic to Eli, and I'm going to step out the way.
Thank you, Emma. Thank you. So, thank you, Emma, Deshawn, and Asia, on what you guys are doing and building here. It's amazing to see. Glad to be a part of it. I'm humble. My name is Eli Gonzalez, as you mentioned, guys, broker owner here at EG Home Loans. We're located right downtown at the GM Renaissance building. Been in the business now for 9 years. started working at UWM, which is the #1 wholesale lender in the country, Rocket Mortgage as well. So I've seen both sides of the business, right? Worked in retail, and now we're going on year 3 in business. So it's a beautiful thing. Love helping my community. Not to mention I grew up right down the street on Green Lawn, so I know these areas and alleys, you know, like the back of my hand. So biggest difference, and you guys will learn tonight if you don't already know, being a mortgage broker like we are, we have access to several different lenders. So long story short, we do the shopping for you guys. So less headaches, less stress that you guys have to worry about if you ever bought a home or investment property as well. We do all that for you. So looking forward to it this evening. Thank you.
How's everybody doing this evening? My name is Derek Thompson. Is it going on? Okay, y'all can hear me. My name is Derek Thompson. I'm with. It's cool. I'm gonna just talk about it. Is that okay with y'all? Y'all can hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, so my name is Derek Thompson. I'm with Scopo Mortgage. I've been in the industry since right out of college. I went to UND for high school, so I'm local to the area as well, right on 7 in Wyoming. I went to Michigan State for college, so again, you know, go white. So you know, a lot of the come on, but no. So again, you know, I'm local. I'm familiar with, you know, a lot of the players here around in the area. When I graduated from Michigan State, I kind of like Eli, went the rocket route. Like most people downtown, getting their feet wet in the industry. You know, was downtown as a banker for a few years. I left there and went to Michigan First Credit Union in Southfield, if you guys are familiar, there on Evergreen. And I worked at Michigan First Mortgage as a loan officer for a few years. And then I actually left there, and like Eli as well, you know, as you can see, there's kind of a pipeline when it comes to funding and getting your feet wet in Michigan. But I left Michigan First and went to UWM and was actually a senior underwriter out there for a couple of years as well. And I left in 2020 during the pandemic and opened my own brokerage as well. So I'm a broker owner for Scopo Mortgage. We've been fully functional since August 2020. Again, we do quite a bit, you know, from first-time home buyers, conforming, conventional, FHA, VA, to even a lot on the investor side. You know, over the last few years, with the emergence of a lot of these not new, but more popular products now that a lot of people weren't privy to or know about, you know, doing a lot on the investor side as well, you know, when it comes to these rental loans from both the purchase and refinance side. So again, like Eli said, you know, we've been on every side of the business, from underwriting to loan officer to retail to wholesale. And you know, we're here to be a resource for you guys, so appreciate you having us.
My name is.
You want to try it? Oh, it sound like, look, it sounds like it worked.
Okay, my name is Ed Williams, Black Equity Lending. I've been doing mortgages for 15 years now, so I've been at it for quite some time. Well, I guess my experience has been somewhat diverse, but it's pretty much all been origination. I pretty much got the bulk of my mortgage experience from way back in the day. Some of you might remember Shore Mortgage. Home loans are all we do. So I started off working there in like the call center environment when they were trying to compete directly with Quicken Loans. I was there for a few years. Went out of state and did some loans out in the Atlanta area for a couple years. Then finally was able to come back home and worked at Flagstar Bank at corporate headquarters doing loans out in Troy. Then went to the broker side about 6 years ago. I actually started my own brokerage last year, like around, back out again. And everything was up and running probably like this past summer. From Detroit as well. I graduated from Renaissance High School, graduated from Grand Valley State University, Alpha Phi Alpha. I don't know if anybody in the house, but yeah, that's pretty much it. Been doing loans 15 years straight. It's been very interesting. Probably did almost every kind of loan you could think of, especially more from a retail side, USDA, VA, please Lord, like whatever it takes to get the loans done. Exactly, all the time.
What is the please Lord law? All right, so we appreciate that. Goal is, we want to dive right into questions. I can kick it off with maybe you guys can just kind of tell us, what does it look like, preparing for a loan? I guess we'll start from an investor perspective. What do we need? What do we need to have to get ourselves ready? Or when I'm coming to you saying, Eli, I got this 2-family flat. I don't owe any, I don't have a debt on it. I want to pull out some equity if it's there. What does that look like? I haven't tented it. Let me just add, so you can see if it works. We can try the other one. Struggling with the mic, y'all, sorry.
All right, so first I kind of want to survey the room, kind of see, is everybody in here mostly investors? Yeah. This is all investors? Mainly? Okay. So no home buyers, nobody looking to purchase their first home or everything, mostly investors. Okay, so we got a few home buyers here, okay. Mostly in Detroit or around Metro Detroit? Metro, everything? Okay, sounds good, So I'll tackle it, I'll start with the investor standpoint first, okay. So as you may or may not know, Detroit is a different beast, okay. So from a lending standpoint, that's the reason why I like being a broker, because I can go to many different lenders and different options. There's still, unfortunately, a lot of redlining going on in the industry. It's a lot of people who don't want to buy in Detroit, invest in Detroit. A lot of banks don't want to lend because in their eyes it's riskier. But as we know, people here, boots on the ground, it's still a lot of opportunity. I mean, I currently got clients all over the country right now, really all over the world, wanting to buy here, wanting to get this soil. So outside, I consider this my 9-to-5 job. Outside of this, I'm a real estate investor as well. So, I'm getting in the game, talking the same language as you guys as well. So just know our market is being infiltrated right now with people from out of state. So it's our job, that's why I like what's going on here locally, because they are making you guys aware. And Asia says this all the time on social media. In the next 3 to 5 years, Detroit gonna look totally different. You see what's going on right now. They started downtown, money is being infiltrated, and it's coming slowly but surely. This Bagley district is on fire. I mean, anybody knows who's a real estate agent, you put something up here that's nice, it's gone within a week, so highly competitive. So to get back to the question, really depends on the deal. Multi-unit, we can go up to 70% cash out loan to value. With us here at EG Home Loans is no seasoning period. So say for example, today you cash out on a multi-unit, tomorrow you can take the cash and equity out. So we can do that. Most of the banks, you gotta wait 6 months or 3 months. So if you've ever done that before, that's the requirement. From an investor standpoint, credit is essential. Minimum 660 credit score. So we pull from all 3 credit bureaus.
Say that again.
660 minimum credit score. Okay? From an investment standpoint. For an investment loan. But we got other options out there. Like I said, if things change on our side, just so you guys are aware too, on the broker channel. Oh, click that one off. All right. Okay, yeah. So, things change all the time. So before we leave here, I want to make sure you guys follow me on social media. Like stuff changes in our business daily. So what we say now could be non void tomorrow. Right, it's just terrible. Mike is terrible with that. But thank you, appreciate it. So long story short, as an investor, my job, I consult, I have a free consultation. Okay, I want to get your goals. I want to know exactly what you're looking to do. Okay, from there, give me all your documentations. Number 1 is credit. My whole process is digital. Start with that credit application, takes you 10 minutes. Complete it. Once you complete it through my website, I got a portal, you upload your documents. It's all technology driven. So we'll have you approved same day. Okay, from there, we can do video chats, meet in person. I meet in person with clients. I want to know your goals. I want to know your situation. Then from there, I'll guide you in the right step on which route you want to go. So that's how we do it.
Well, just to piggyback a little bit on what Eli was saying as well, especially on the investment side, any buyer, even purchasing a primary, conforming, conventional, but especially on the investor side, it's critical to work with the broker. because you're broke. Like Eli said, each lender has different requirements at the end of the day on what they're willing to do, what they're willing to lend on, what they're willing to qualify somebody with. Half of the battle on the investment side is just knowing how to navigate with these lenders. When it comes to underwriting, when it comes to, you know, pricing the loan, when it comes to getting the loan to the damn closing table. Like, it's all about how to navigate, and that's where working with the broker as opposed to doing your own shopping, going lender to lender, and they're all telling you a million different things that make 0 sense at the end of the day.
Right.
Working with a broker is going to allow you to make sure you're leaving no stone unturned and in the best spot possible. Now, on the investment side, like I said, and not even on the investment side, but especially investment, these are non-QM loans, right? You guys, what that essentially means are they're non-conforming, they're non-qualified mortgages, they're not underwritten to Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, FHA, federal guidelines. So with that being said, each lender has their own requirements or their own back-end investor requirements, you know, to do that loan. So again, one lender telling you something can't be done isn't an automatic door closed, right? You know, or whatnot, because again, every lender is on the investment non-QM, it's not a one-size-fits-all scenario. It's you have to work, again, like Eli said, you have to know your goals. What's your plan? It's not always about this purchase. It's, you know, where do you want to be 8 months from now? You know, are you rinsing and repeating? Are you doing, you know, buying long-term buying holds? Are you doing fix and flips? You have to have an idea of what you're looking to accomplish first and foremost. And then at that point, us as a broker on our side and our channel, we have all the tools available to be able to literally hold your hand and help advise on the best way to get to your goal. What that route for Jane Doe is going to look a little bit different than the route for John Doe over here. But again, there's still a way to get to that finish line for both parties, right? It's all just about, you know, being knowledgeable about what's going on, having a lender or broker who is educating you on what's going on, as well as, again, like, I can't harp on that enough, because it's all about the future when it comes to that. Again, you know, it's this deal is important, right? But it's where you want your third and fourth deal to be, to start making sense for you. Where you want your portfolio to be, you know, what your goal is. So, you know, again, just to piggyback on that, I cannot stress the importance of working with a broker, especially in the investment channel, just because there's so many different options out there. You know, you have to leave no stone unturned, for lack of a better term.
Yep.
Can I ask a question real quick? Can anybody touch on acquisitions and performers? Do you require performers or acquisition package?
More like commercial, you think more commercial? So, yeah, we're getting into the commercial space now. You know, I'll be honest, it's a new arena for me. We mostly focus on residential 1 to 4, but now we're branching off to 5 to 9 unit properties. But, I mean, really that credit and assets is the biggest thing, you know.
So when you say assets, are you talking about assets that
can be converted to cash?
Y'all can come in and take the money?
Listen, not us, you know what I mean? Listen, yeah, but stuff that can be easily converted to cash, guys. So, I mean, I had a scenario where crypto is accepted. You know, crypto can be converted to cash. Anything converted to cash, we can use, especially for you guys with multiple properties. As long as there's equity there in the properties, we use the equity for cash reserves, you know, as well. So it's our job. Just give me for me, all I ask, give me everything, put everything on the table for me. I don't want to be surprised with anything, because my job is to present. I'm the liaison between you and the lender. So I go present. I'm presenting daily to underwriters and everything. So their checklist, that's all they're doing.
Eli, what are you presenting? Let's kind of like dive into that, or maybe I can ask Ed, or what? That was my original question, not to pull away from it, but I'm probably like some of the people in here. I know we got to deal with the brokers, it's best, but I got a deal and I'm trying to get that deal. I'm trying to pull some equity out. I know you're gonna look at my credit. I know you know I have a tenant in there. So I'm thinking, do you need to know how much you know, my monthly income rent is? What do you look at to present to this underwriter to see if I qualify for that loan,
All right, so it's three buckets. I'm gonna just start there because it can get dicey as well. Number one, credit, obviously. Number two, income. Okay, that could be income on the property if you're an investor. If you're a home buyer, your personal income, W-2s, 1099, are you self-employed? And then third thing, most important as well, cash liquid assets. So whether it's in your personal bank, retirement account, like I mentioned, other accounts that can be converted to cash. If you got a family member or friend that can gift you funds as well, has to be validated, meaning from an account, can't be cash, has to be in the account. We can use that as well. So that's the start. That's sort of three buckets. Then it goes deeper from there. How many other properties and everything you own too, but that's what we.
So that's what you're looking
those
to
are the
present.
main-
So we
main
got to
three.
come to you prepared with.
Everything.
Okay.
I got a whole checklist. Right online. Boom.
How long is the
Exactly.
cash gonna be in the account?
2 months.
2 months.
Seasoning.
That's for you too, Derek. 2 months.
So, and again, this is the nice part about us being in the broker channel, right? Each lender has different requirements, at the end of the day. So whereas, one lender may want a 660 credit score in order to do a refi or cash out, another lender may be willing to do it with their guidelines at a 620. They may change the LTV you may get out. So again, that's where LTV is just loan to value, the amount that you're able to actually borrow against the value of the home. But again, different lenders have different requirements, which is why, again, not being a dead horse, but that's what Eli is essentially saying we are presenting. That's our job, is to get your goals, get your situation, get the picture of what's going on, and then get it to a lender that's going to be the best scenario for this situation.
So what? Go ahead. I'm
So I
sorry.
was gonna say, so like a potential scenario where, you're looking for more cash in the deal, where you may want to go to a lender that,
A higher loan to value is going to get me more money out, or
Yeah, because-
more loan money.
Yeah, you have a higher loan amount or whatnot. So again, that's where, like I say, Eli hit the nail on the head with it, where it's just, that's our job in this arena, is to take the information that you're providing in addition to your goals. And again, hey, if you need this amount and this much amount, this is the lender we need to do. These are the requirements that we need to meet for that lender. If you're payment focused and cash flows your goal, where again, hey, I want this amount of cash flow. Everything else is null and void. Then we may need to go to a lender that, we can get into a rate to where your cash flow is going to be there, even if it's at a different, LTV amount. So again, it's all about your personal goals. We can package this up and get it to lenders to accomplish what you're looking to accomplish. We just need to know what that is.
Okay. What you got to add to that, Ed?
That was a lot.
It was. It was. That's what I said. Ed. So.
Yeah, just pretty much what you guys were saying, like,
Mike, it's working for me.
it's not,
Like us up here.
The biggest thing is, of course, they, like you said before, they look at credit, assets, and since this is a more investor-driven meeting, basically the main thing they want to see is how much money do you have left over from this rental income after you pay the mortgage. The more money you have left over, the more basically they're willing to lend to you, like in a nutshell.
So when you say assets, are you talking about another asset that's free and clear, or another asset that has mortgage on it, but you still got some equity in it?
So that's a great question. On my side, I'm sorry, you want me to say it on the mic?
I can take the mic to him.
Yes.
So y'all got these questions. I'm gonna need y'all to stand up because I got these heels on. So you got to meet me halfway. You're not gonna stand up. He's just not gonna stand up.
So I keep hearing them ask about assets. So my question is, with assets, does it have to be a free and clear asset, or can it be an asset that has a mortgage on it, but still has some equity in that dwelling?
Because I don't want to walk back.
Yeah, let's go.
Okay.
What was the question again?
So my question is, when we talk about assets, does that asset have to be free and clear, or can it be, when I come to them, can they use it as a second lien on that asset that I have, or would they have to just be able to pull some equity out of that way, or do they have to be primary now?
Everything? Every lender has a different qualification.
But I guess that someone, and not that I don't know if he was going to answer
More y'all expertise.
So when it comes to assets, usually, like when we say assets, they're talking about bank statements. I'm not like, they're talking about bank statements. Most lenders want to see 60 days. You might get away with some that'll do a 1 month, 30 days, but most lenders want to see 60 days of bank statements or whatnot. That's what they're looking for. Eli, though, and what he was saying, you know, we're having some, you know, some specific products to where, like I said, there may be a choice at an option at a lender where they may let you to that point, Calvin, tap into equity on something else versus, you know, actually having physical cash in the form of statements, you know, if needed to show reserves or whatever the case may be. So just circling back on our whole point is, again, the opportunities are, I'm not gonna say endless, but you know, there's a plethora of situations that we can go into a variety of buckets we can qualify for. It's all just about seeing which one makes the most sense for your situation.
All right, just to add on that, let's use that scenario, right? So we can get creative here. Answer your
Let's
question.
get creative.
Okay, to answer your question, we can do both, right? So say your situation, say you got $50,000 worth of equity on that second property and you out and buy another one. So first option I'm gonna present to you several different options. First option, let's do a cash out refinance and convert everything into one loan for you. That way you making one payment, I'm giving you the 50 grand, and I'm paying off your mortgage, and I'm saving you $300 a month for your mortgage payment. Take that 50 grand, cash out on the next property. Okay? That's scenario one. Scenario two, I can do a HELOC loan on that where you're paying two more. So basically, I'm giving you a line of credit for that equity. That $50,000, I'm giving you a line of credit for 5 years. Okay? You're still paying your mortgage, say you got a 2% interest rate. I'm giving you that line of credit, use that line of credit to do whatever. On an investment property, I can do it as well, okay? So that's scenario two, okay? Scenario three, use, let's say you got a primary residence that you're living in, and if it's equity there, we just playing real life monopoly. We're pulling from there, and we're using that to purchase your investment property. So here's where it can get creative. I don't want you, my request, I don't want y'all to try to figure it out. Just tell me what's the goal, and I'm gonna get us there.
You got a question over there? You need the mic?
So I wanted to ask you a question. So what is the possibility, and I know the answer, what is the possibility of all the black folks that, and whoever, whatever race, I don't want this to be a black thing, but what is the possibility of some of these people getting together and coming to you and doing a joint venture or teaming agreement to buy properties? So now his assets will not qualify, but you may have a co-signer that can come in and say, mine may qualify. Anybody got an answer for that?
So that's an interesting scenario, right? So it's two ways to kind of, I guess, really look at that. Is one, you can have a co-borrower on these loans. Again, you know, a lot of investors here, you hear DSCR loans, all of that, the whole 9 yards. We don't got to beat around the bush. You can have co-borrowers. So yeah, you know, if you know you're having trouble qualifying on some accord, you know, you may be able to add a co-borrower if it's something like funds, to where, you know, again, you know, you have 2 or 3 borrowers who are all bringing funds into the deal or whatnot. Then each of those borrowers' funds would be sourced, you know, independently, but they would all be able to be used in the deal because they're all on the loan.
So each one would have to be individual. They would have to come in individually. They couldn't come in as a package.
No, so it would basically be a borrower and 2 co-borrowers, or a borrower and a borrower. It wouldn't be unless, you know, they were in this where it starts getting tricky too, when you come into, like, you know, companies and businesses and multiple member, you know, businesses, the whole 9 doing stuff. It all just, again, circling back.
So are they going off of your personal assets, or are they going off of your LLC? Because that's the purpose of having an LLC. You can go off either. Now, if you're using LLC to qualify, then be prepared to have your LLC stuff in order.
because they're going to want to see, certificate of good standing. They're going to want to see your articles. They're going to want to see, annual operating agreement to make sure you have signing authority for that LLC and can actually do the loan. Because even if, again, you're doing these DSCR loans, in an LLC, vesting in an LLC, more often you're still personally guaranteeing it. It's just vesting in the LLC or whatnot. So at that point, again, your personal is taken into account for qualifying, but in order, they'll give you the option for business purposes. They call these loans business purpose loans now, investor loans and business. You have to actually certify at closing that this is a business purpose loan or whatnot. Again, it's just, it depends, but there's an option for that, for lack of a better term. And that's different than syndication.
Yeah, she has a question right here. But real quick, before we go to this young lady's question, you're throwing around those 4 letters, DSCR. For those, or did I say it wrong?
No, you said it right.
Because you snickered a little bit.
No, it doesn't make sense.
For those that are, they just don't know.
Gotcha.
Let's break down what that means, partly why we have you guys up here, so that they can really understand. Take.
I don't know, but okay, so a DSCR loan, it stands for debt service coverage ratio, right? It's a fancy word. What that means in layman's terms is when we get it's qualifying the property versus your income, right, on an investment property. So what happens is when we get these loans, when we do these loans, we order what's called a 1007 on the appraisal, which is a determination of market rent from the appraiser, right? The appraiser is going to do their due diligence and give, again, this property a value as well as a market rent. What the DSCR means, or the debt service coverage ratio, is that market rent needs to be, for most lenders, at least a 1-to-1 ratio to cover what your mortgage payment is going to be. Now, pricing sometimes gets better depending on the lenders, kind of like Ed was saying, depending on what that ratio ends up being. The higher the ratio, it obviously makes it a less risky loan for the lender, right? Because you have a higher cash flow on the property. So again, pricing, can sometimes be different depending on that DSCR ratio, but most lenders are going to want to see that you at least have a 1-to-1 ratio, that the market rent for this property is at very bare minimum going to cover the appraisal. Cover the mortgage payment. And then at that point, again, there are other, caveat qualifications, but it's more so a qualifying the property as opposed to qualifying a borrower's ability to repay.
Did y'all understand that? That's why I wanted, that's exactly what it's a great loan, but qualifying yourself, we qualifying the property. If it's an income generating property, then there's a higher value on the property, but you may have run into a little snafu if it's your personal. So we're trying to give you every option, and the door's not closed just because your credit may not be up to par. If you come in at a different angle, like they were alluding to earlier, that's what I just wanted to know. Go ahead.
Okay, so DSCR is for investment properties only. You can't get a DSCR loan on a primary residence, like meaning that you're living in full time. Investment only. Okay, so again, this is the beauty of being a broker. So this week I just announced one of my lenders that I work with, it can be like a 0.8 ratio. For example, how we get the rental analysis is all done by the appraiser. The appraiser dictates that. Okay, so no matter what you got the lease out for, if it's not the market in the area, once we get that appraisal back, doesn't work. So say for example, you believe in your heart strongly, because we know we're passionate about our properties, $1,400 a month. This is the market rate right now. That appraisal comes back and say, no, based on the current market, current comps in the area, $700 a month.
But Section 8 paying me 14.
Exactly. So that's separate. Lending world is different. Lending world is different. So we taking that number. Let's just say, I don't want to confuse nobody. Say it's $1,000, right? Just announced today, as long as you're receiving at least $800 a month in rental income, we can do the deal. How much again? $800 a month. So that's a 0.8 ratio. Most of the time, like you were saying, the industry standard is 1-to-1. So for example, your mortgage payment is $1,000, you gotta have at least $1,000 in market rent covering that. Now, it could be at least $800. I could go to 0.8 right now. Okay, so they're understanding, and you got people out there that studying the market, seeing particularly in Detroit, you know, because we're investor hub right now, they understand these investors are coming, like they're here. You know what I mean? So they need money, they need funding, so these lenders want to be in the game. So I hope that makes sense for everybody. Did you have a question?
Oh, yeah, question. You got the other mic, don't you? Just give me work.
Hello.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
So instead of refinancing on your property, you see you can get a line of credit, right? What's the qualifications for the line of credit?
So similar to a mortgage, still need the credit score, you still need to personally guarantee. So it all depends. So primary residence in the lending world is less riskier, right?
Remind them what line of credit means for those who don't.
Line of credit is basically like a credit card against the equity of your home. Credit card on a house. You got $100,000 worth of equity. I mean, help yourself. Go over to Somerset, you know, and go crazy for the next couple of years. You know what I mean? But long story short, you get to pull from that, you know, consistently for a certain amount of time. So most of the time with these lenders, whatever that figure is, let's say your balance is $50,000, you're paying interest only for that time. And then it works like a normal mortgage. After, let's say, a 5-year term, you pay it back. You got 25 years to pay it back with a normal mortgage. So it's a beautiful program. It's a beautiful program not only just for home buyers, but investors as well. So that's something that I've really been pushing. Honestly, Emma, like we've been talking about, I got something for us too next week. This is great for my investors. Really, in my mind, like with us, how we work, anything under $100,000 right now, I'm pushing line of credit for you guys, because I know this is not going to be your last property that you purchase. So why not scale? Why take your own hard money? You don't know what you're walking into sometimes with these properties. You may need to fix it up and, you know, everything. You can scale with that line of credit.
I think the gentleman over here had a question first. So you hold that. I'll take this.
So I got a specific question in regards to the HELOC, or the line of credit, on the investment property. Because I've tried to find it before, and I know previously that was super difficult to get on the investment property. So now, does the line of credit have to be in your name, and does the property have to transfer to your name, or can it still stay in the LLC? Because that's the issue I've been having. That's the reason why I didn't want to do that on my properties, because they're like, well, you gotta take it out of your LLC, you gotta put it in your name. So I'm like, that was the whole point of me doing it to begin with. But I got DSCR loans on properties, but if I gotta put it in my personal name, now my debt to income changed and it messed the whole game up. So how does that work specifically, you know, if you're trying to do that?
Yeah, to answer your question, guys, just because it's so risky right now, it's so new, like you mentioned, most lenders are not even doing that on investment properties. We can go up to 70% loan to value on your property. But to answer your question, personal name right now, unfortunately, that's the only option. You cannot close on an LLC, at least with me. I mean, have you guys seen something different? You always got to personally guarantee it. Did you want to add to that?
Just to piggyback on that, most of my HELOC lenders, like if it's vested in your business.
I gotta hear you, Derek.
I say, yeah, well, I just was piggybacking a little bit. Most of my HELOC lenders as well, like I was saying, if it's vested in your LLC, they'll make you beat it.
And this is the HELOC, the
This is the
line of
HELOC.
credit.
The HELOC. But here's my mindset with it, to your particular situation. Hey, let's use it short term. Let's do it for a year. Then we refinance out.
So explain that to us. Your light bulb on. Tell us where you're going with this.
He's, you know, saying, hey, my DTI and everything. So I'm getting this goes. Okay, what's the concern here for the DTI? Are you going out to buy another house or a car? If so, what's the time frame? Oh, I'm thinking about a year and a half out. Okay, let's get it for a year. You can utilize that credit limit for a year. That line of credit, do what you want, rehab projects, buy cash, and we'll refinance you out. We'll get rid of that. You just got to pay the remaining balance. or finance it elsewhere. But right now, currently, that's the market with the investment. You gotta personally guarantee it. Nobody I know right now, is financing an LLC. But again, in the broker world, that could change tomorrow. So.
We had another question. Young lady, where was the question
She
at?
had one over here too a while ago. She did too.
You had a question?
For the HELOC on the investment property, I think you just said 70%. Is that up to a certain amount of units, or is that just like the 2 units or 4 units?
Great question. Up to 4 units. I can do it. So get with me. You got something now?
Yeah. What's the credit? What's the minimum credit score?
680.
Okay.
You got something?
You got something?
She got something on the table, y'all.
Okay, let's go.
She got something on the table. I had another question.
Yes.
This our guy from DC, y'all. He flew in for us.
This pertains to the DSCR. Okay. We're working for construction as well.
So a DSCR loan is not a construction loan, and the reason for that is the whole idea of DSCR, right, is that the property is about to be tenant occupied. So it doesn't have to be, again, obviously a high-end finish, it doesn't have to have marble countertop, granite countertops, whatever the case may be, but it can't be a rehab. It can't be down to the studs because it has to pass an appraisal. So what'll happen is, in certain cases, what an appraiser may do is they'll still appraise the property, give it the value, and then make it subject to the following repairs, so that hey, you know where the value is on it. You know that once the repairs are done, that where that value is going to be. But it has to be livable. Most lenders, and again, this is getting a little down the rabbit hole, but most lenders don't take anything DSCR over a C4 on the appraisal, just which is the condition of it. So appraisal reports are conditioned from 1 to 6. 5 and 6 are usually deemed as unlivable, unsafe, health and safety issues or whatnot. Most lenders on the DSCR side only take 4s or below when it comes to that appraisal condition.
And I wanted to ask you, what kind of loans do you have for construction?
So that's a good question. So is it ground up construction? Are you doing fix and flip on acquisition and rehab, or just straight ground up construction? So, and again, so kind of like Eli's the 4-unit building. So, okay, so when it comes to building ground up, there's obviously, to your point, and you're familiar too with this, but so there's a lot of moving pieces, right? You got your builders, you got doing permit stuff, processors, the lender, underwriter. So when it comes to ground up construction, that's something that I really, just in full transparency, get the situation and shop lender to lender, just to really see again what's going to be the best scenario. When you get into a lot of those, again, construction loans, fix and flip, acquisition, rehab loans, it's all about the deal for that lender and what that lender is willing to do for you specifically. So that's where, again, the broker world, being able to leave that no stone unturned. There may be a different down payment percentage here, a different interest rate percentage here, a different, process here when it comes to closing and, rehab draws or whatever the case is. So it's all about shopping it around when it comes to something like that.
And is this investment construction? Okay. So it gets a little tricky. Let's talk. Yeah, let's talk afterwards. Because something like that, I got to piece together. It's a whole thing when you talk about investment. Because if anyone has been through the construction process with a primary residence, that alone, it's a lot of moving parts there, a lot of delays there, as well. So when you add investment on top of that, the risk is way higher. Not saying it can't be done, but something like that, I like to get all the pieces, everything. So let's talk.
How do you guys determine loan amounts? Because I want to get up into this no minimum loan amount, but I don't know how to go into that question. I wasn't going to let you get out here without telling us about the no minimum loan amount. So, let's just jump into it. How do you determine that, or what paint that picture for us?
So everything is, or at least for the loans that we did together with the no minimum loan amounts, it was all based upon appraised value.
So even
Y'all hear that on the other side? No minimum loan amounts based on appraised value. I know y'all over there with the sad conversations, but this is a good one.
So even though we still do like the rental schedules to find out how much the market values are in the area, it's still an appraisal involved. So of course Detroit is a special area where you can buy homes for very cheap and still get high rental pricing or rents is the word. So, but in that particular situation, based upon your credit score and the difference between how much the mortgage payment will be and how much you are collecting in rent, they'll, like whatever that percentage number is how much they'll let you get out as far as the minimum loan amount. So in some of our scenarios, like the houses were appraising for $60,000, you might have a mortgage payment for like $500, the house rents for like $800 in that particular case. They'll let you, like at that particular credit score, if it's a higher credit score, they'll let you go up to 70% of whatever the house appraises for.
So it sounds like this is for homes that are already rented where income is coming in. I wouldn't be able to do this if I had perhaps purchased a home from the land bank, did the minimum work to get the release, and now I need about 50 or 60 to go in and finish the rest so that I can get it on the market. I guess there's no money limit would it apply in that scenario?
So that's a very good question. Full transparency, I've done a handful of DSCR loans. So the situation I was in, the houses were already rented out. I know you can use like market rents in order to purchase based off of those numbers. So I'm gonna slide it on over here.
Okay. I'm gonna get to the bottom of this no limit loans.
All right, so I'm gonna give y'all the real nitty gritty.
Thank you. We need to turn the cameras off. We need to turn the cameras off.
We don't gotta beat around the bush about it.
Thank you.
So the no minimum loan amount is with a lender here in Michigan, right? Now, this lender has different qualifications depending on which loan amount or bucket you fall into for a DSCR product. And what I mean by that is, for the no minimum loan amount, to answer your question, Emma, it does not have to be rented. It can be vacant.
Did y'all hear that? For the no minimum loan amount, it does not have to be rented. It can be vacant.
Now, where that comes into play though is the amount or LTV that they're letting you go to. So whereas they may say, hey, if this is rented with this DSCR ratio, if there's a long-term lease in play, you can go to 70%, 75%, whatever the case may be. What they'll do because again, it's all about risk at the end of the day on the lending side, right? If it's vacant, what most lenders do is an LTV reduction to account for the risk. So they'll say, hey, you still can do it, but we're not going to give you max cash out like we would as if it was rented income producing. So that's a big thing, again, for the no minimum. Again, it doesn't have to be rented, and there are different scenarios, whether there's a long-term lease, a short-term lease, a month-to-month lease. These are all different scenarios for the lender that determine your loan-to-value, your price, and the whole 9 yards. Other big kicker for no minimum, I know everybody wants to get into the investment game. It sounds like a great product. Hey, no income, you know what I'm saying? I get to buy it. You cannot be a first-time home buyer. I'm sorry, you cannot. Your first property cannot be a DSCR loan with no minimum, no income assessment. Lenders are not going. So again, to that point, the big kicker that I see disqualifies most people from the no minimum program is one, a first-time home buyer. You can be a first-time investor, just not a first-time home buyer or whatnot. And if you are, to that point, you don't have to own your primary residence either. You can rent, but what's going to happen is with that no minimum program, they're going to get what's called a VOR or a VOM. If they're saying, hey, you don't own your primary residence, we can't verify that you've made 12 months on payments on time for at least where you lay your head at, we need to verify that with a different method if it's not a mortgage on credit or, again, a free and clear property, right? So that's the other big kicker is you can't be rent-free with the no minimum loan amount product.
you gotta have a payment history.
You have to have a primary payment history, a primary housing payment history of at least 12 months. So those are the two biggest kickers on the no minimum. It's a great product. Again, I'm doing a DSCR right now with the 42.5 purchase price. Like, you put 20% down. So again, it's a great product. However, again, those are the two biggest disqualifying factors: is first-time home buyer and being rent-free, not owning your primary residence. You can't be living with your mom on an investment property, or you can't be living with your mom and write a rent-free letter. Now, to that point, not to go too far down the other route, but this same lender also has a product as well at a 50K minimum. So while this loan product has no minimum, they have a 50K minimum where they'll allow you to be rent-free as long as you have a certain credit score. So just kind of, again, bleeding into what we were saying earlier, whereas, these lenders, some of these lenders sometimes have 5 or 6 different DSCR products in-house, let alone another 5 or 6 different lenders who offer the product. So that's where, again, it's all about working with somebody who knows what they're doing. They know how to navigate these guidelines, how to get you the most out of the situation that you're in all honesty.
I appreciate that. I now got the T on the no limit. You got the mic.
Okay, so with Navy Federal,
You say what now?
Navy Federal, they wanted taxes. They wanted me to show that I was renting my place out. So do all lenders want that, or?
When you say they wanted you to show you're renting or so?
Because I told them I have rental property, and I'm collecting $3,000.
Is it for a DSCR loan or is it for a different loan? Because so to that point, if you're getting into conforming or conventional mortgages, so if it is a conventional, to that point, the only way that you can use rental income from investment properties on conventional loans is if you have it on your Schedule E and you file it on your taxes. Now, the only caveat to that is they'll let you use rental income, but you have to have purchased the property in the prior calendar. Reserves are more often than not only required on the subject property that we're doing or whatnot. Again, a lot of times, depending on the situation, they'll let you use cash out as reserves. So again, if they say, hey, you need 6 months reserves for this loan program, you're getting 100 grand out in cash out. Again, most lenders will let you use that cash out and you don't even have to supply bank statements on refinances. Because again, the equity, to Eli's point earlier, they're seeing that you're getting those liquid funds and you have those reserves and the equity is there. So again, it's all about just what you're trying to do, how you're trying to navigate it. But if you're looking investment property wise and they're giving you issues again on DTI or because of taxes or whatever the case may be, that's why the DSCR product is so popular.
Quick question, and this is just to get an understanding. You said if you do the home line of credit for the first 5 years, you are only paying interest, and then you go to paying on the actual amount borrowed. Is that what you said?
So so the first 5 years is interest only on whatever that balance is. So whatever you use for the first 5 years, you paying interest only on that. After that 5-year term, it's fully amortized like a normal mortgage. So you're paying principal and interest at the time, whatever that balance is. So let's say you get a $100,000 credit limit year 1, right? Utilize that. By the time year 5 comes around, let's say you only have $20,000 balance. Now that $20,000 balance is amortized for the rest of the 25 years. And there's no prepayment penalties for that. So this is, right now, I'm pitching this to all my investors right now. If you got equity in a property, it doesn't matter whether you have an investment property or your primary residence. This is a blanket for you. This is a safety net for you guys.
So you're saying this is a good take out so there's equity in my house. This is a good time to take out that equity, use it, and try to get it. If I got a $90,000 line of credit and I get it down to $20,000, after the 5 years, I can only pay the principal on that $20,000. That's what you're saying?
Correct. That's
Okay.
whatever your balance is. We're not gonna charge you. They're not gonna charge you. Actually, it's only what you use, just like a credit card.
Okay.
So like a credit, whatever you use, you pay on.
Okay.
And it's amortized. That's why this is great, you know, for people, because you got the 5 year, and then year 4, let's say in a situation like that, right? Year 4, you're gonna receive so much marketing material, they're gonna ask you, hey, do you wanna refinance?
Okay, so when you say refinance, and forgive me, because I don't, but what does that mean when you say refinance?
Do you want to extend for another 5 years? Do you want to increase your limit? Look at it as like increasing your limit. They want to keep you as a customer.
Okay, but is that a smart thing to do? Like,
Everybody's situation different. Situation different. That's what I'm saying. That's that one-on-one talk. What's your goals? You telling me, okay, I want to get 3 more investment properties in 3 years. Boom, get the extension. Why use your own money? You got a $100,000 limit. Boom, and just pay it back. Whatever you use, pay it back as you please. You get something, pay cash, $50,000. I still got extra $50,000 plus an extra 50 in cash. So now I'm at 100,000. I'm going in a property, I don't know what I'm walking into. Why be cash for it? Then boom, you pay that other off, I got 100,000, line of credit, and $25,000 cash. Now I'm at 125, it's math. So that's what I'm, you know, that's what we do.
Some gym shoes, y'all think? Normally I got on the dumps. What was I thinking?
Alright, so
And we talking after this.
Oh
We
yeah,
talking after
of
this.
course, of course. Now I wanted to ask about the like the down payment percentages on these like investor loans. So are we seeing things like 5%, like FHA rates? So like what's the what's the actual percentages we can expect for those type of loans?
Hi, real quick. So for DSCR or these investor loans, they a lot of the times mirror irregular conventional investment, which is what makes them attractive for people, right? Now, that's not the case in every scenario. Again, as we were saying, everybody's situation is different. One lender may want, 25% at this credit score. One lender may be willing to go 20% at this credit score. A lot of DSCR lenders start doing 15% down, depending on the loan amount and purchase price or whatnot. So it's all about, the situation. Standard 1 to 4 units, you're usually looking at 20% to 25%, again, depending on the exact amount of units. But again, for like duplexes, and again, most lenders are going 20% down investment, aside from, again, maybe a lower credit score or, something to that point. But again, that's what makes it attractive for you guys, right? Because if you're doing conventional, you're still putting down 20%. You're just needing to supply income to show that you can repay the loan. DSCR, you're putting down the same percentage, but you're qualifying the property versus your own income, which is, again, a lot of people, a lot more options that they don't have access to on conventional.
Is there lower percentage options that's out there that,
Not with DSCR, the lowest I've seen is 15%, but that's just because, again, it's an investment property. So even if you're getting a regular mortgage through Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, and you're going to be putting 15-20% down, it's an investment property. They want to make sure that you have, enough skin in the game to make it make sense for everybody.
All right, so real quick, we're gonna wrap up the panel at 9 o'clock. We're gonna necessarily wrap up in here because we go on to 9:30. But folks probably want to just get at these guys, like, hey, I got a question. Because most audience like y'all, you got all these questions and don't nobody want to ask, right? You just want to corner them and kind of go at them that way. So we're going to stop at about 9 with the open questions and just do some more networking until 9:30. But I got a question here, and then I think I have a gentleman over there. We may have time for 1 or 2 before we go into just open networking.
All right, so the situation is I'm looking for rehab financing for a land-bank property that has already passed compliance. The issue, first, it is multifamily. The issue is that I've been getting a lot of different reasons, but One reason has to do with the as-is value in the appraise, when the appraisal was done. So that's been a problem, and I'm just sort of wondering how might I actually solve this whole problem.
So I thought I'm really here to kick it over to Eli too, because I know he got something to say about it for sure. When it comes to rehab and acquisition, that's just an entirely.
I do have to say it's free and clear.
Okay, gotcha.
So it's free and clear, a bunch of work's been done.
And technically not acquisition, you already got it, land already off and compliant, right? So that sounds like a straightforward refinance.
Right, there's not enough equity in it to finish it.
So to that point, you may, those products, the HELOC would maybe a HELOC to where they do I know a lot of lenders will do a desktop appraisal, so they don't need to do a full appraisal for a HELOC or whatever the case may be. You would then probably want something on that front. I mean, again, and this is the part that makes it nice. And we discussed, again, Eli discussed different lenders, different things, right? So I have a hard money lender who's familiar with land bank properties. They're not big on the as-is value as much as they are on the ARV and what your scope of work needs to be to reach that ARV. So again, they'll let you utilize equity. It's just when you get into hard money rehab, these fix and flip loans, it gets even more subjective and situational than investment property DSCRs, because to your point, it's all about, again, what your specific scope of work is gonna be, right? What the ARVs in that neighborhood are gonna be. If there's a foreclosure, active foreclosure in the area that's gonna be weighing down the ARV, that's gonna have, the lender may have a little bit more reservations about doing the deal in a specific neighborhood that they may do at the same price point in a different one. So again, it's just very, but that's where working with the broker, again, allowing us to get that in front of our lenders and seeing what's the best. We're able to leave no stone unturned for you, again, for lack of a better term. So lenders can do that, they can get that done, but it would definitely be more so on the hard money side. Okay, cash out refinance for as is, because like you said, your issue is that.
Yeah, for your situations, sir, if you don't mind me asking, what's your as-is? 40,000? Okay. So, in its livable condition, it's in, okay. See, that's the caveat right there. Livable condition, guys, too. It's only a select, very few. And we work with, so we got our lenders, right? He mentioned hard money lenders. If you guys are not familiar with hard money lenders, basically it's private financing. People with money acting as a bank. And most of the time it's short-term financing, meaning 1 year, 18 months. So we got those kind of people too that we work with if all else fails.
Well, I say it's not livable, but it's past the compliant for how the land bank.
The big kicker if it's going to be if it's going to pass an appraisal. Do you think it would pass an appraisal?
Yeah.
Like, is it down to the studs?
Studs? Is it down to the studs? Or close? Is it a hole in the ground? Can I fall in this?
Yeah, see, they might hit you for the
Y'all gonna need that one-on-one conversation. But I told you, get in the room, So, I got this gentleman here.
I'm working towards a fix and flip property. I have it under contract for $75,000. Renovation cost of $100,000. After repair value of $329. I got a hard money lender in place for 75% of it.
Okay.
Now I'm looking for gap funding of $50,000. I will repay the return on the investment with proceeds from the profit of the flip. So it'd be around $20,000 for 50.
Okay.
What is the space where I will find those partnerships?
Where's the property located?
Downtown, close to Boston Edison.
New center area?
Clear them out.
Let's talk afterwards.
And just one thing to add on too for everybody, so when you're looking at hard money and fix and flip commercial, I just want to set the proper expectations too. And Eli alluded to it a little bit. Lenders are scared of Detroit. Like, I ain't gonna lie to y'all. It's not that they don't want to lend here because, again, they see the potential, they see, like you said, the influx of investors, but Detroit has one of the highest default rates, you know, of any major city or whatnot, one of the highest fraud rates of any major city. So a lot of these lenders have been burned very substantially with lending in Detroit to the point where they'll still do it, but a lot of qualifying on the hard money investment side with fix and flips, commercial, again, rehab, they like to see experience. So again, to be prepared, you know, lenders may ask you, you know, hey, have you done fix and flip before? You know, how many have you done? You know, what were your profit margins on it? The previous appraisals to gauge the type of work that you're doing on these properties to make sure that it fits a little more in line with their ARV. So just to keep in mind as well, to where hard money is, again, definitely an option. It opens the doors that are sometimes closed for traditional finance. It's very, very, very situational and subjective.
Okay.
I wanted to add something to that. As far as when you come to, as far as financing and you want to fund a deal, we already talked about earlier. Anybody know about crowdfunding? I haven't heard that word since we've been here tonight. Crowdfunding. So, in a nutshell, if everybody in here put $100 together, right? Everybody say we're going, and that's to get a loan, right? We all take $100 and we put it together. Duke Investments, my company, would take all the money that we put together, and then I would come in and say, and my company would back the loan. Now, it's just going to depend on the percentage that's worked out once the home, after the home is built. So, does that make sense to everybody? If we all came to crowdfunding, it's that soft cost that really kills everybody. The soft cost, you got your hard costs if you're building a new build, you got your soft costs, which is going to get your blueprinting, your architectural firm, whoever you're going to hire to do this. A lot of people go into this trying to build a home and don't even have an architect. You don't even, and then you come and say, oh, well, I want to build a fourplex. The first question I'm going to ask you is what? Do you have land? That's going to be the most important part. If you have land, then we can work. But if not, then it's going to be hard to talk to you and get your land because we can't do any work as far as three square is concerned if you don't have land. So if you have the land, now we can start working these deals and say, hey, we can do some crowdfunding, we can do DSCR, we can go to MEDC. There's so many different grants. Even if you're a for-profit organization, then you just do a teaming agreement and a joint venture with a nonprofit to go after grants. As long as it's all in the paperwork. So I'm saying all that to say this, don't let your if you have bad credit or mediocre credit, stop you from going after this money. Right now, everybody familiar with the Joe Louis Greenway?
Yes.
Who's not familiar with the Joe Louis Greenway? We just got rated the #1 riverwalk in the city. In the country. So now our riverwalk goes from Joe Louis Greenway all the way down to past the Belle Isle Bridge. Asia.
Alright, so the Joe Louis Greenway is actually, I think some over here. So a lot of areas where people, so the old railroad, right? Depending on how old you are, I'm an 80s baby. So all the old railroads, especially the one that crossed over Woodward in front of where Highland Park High School used to be, the Greenway coming right there. So you're literally gonna be able to walk over Woodward right there between, what's that, like 6th and Davidson or something like that? Like when you go past like where the Aldi is. So that little Greenway is coming there. If you coming down Davidson and Livernois, and you know you got the Popeyes and the Taco Bell all there right there, all that old industrial, that Greenway coming right through there. What's another part? Joy Road, like between Tyron and Wyoming, Dexter, all that Greenway. And it's actually over here, like it cut through Fitzgerald. Like they started some years ago, but I didn't know what the hell it was. So it's literally like walk lanes. So you're gonna be able to walk from the riverfront through the whole west side, back to the north end, through the east side, come through the Quinder Cut and end up back downtown. It's supposed to be done around 2030, maybe 2025. A sweet pocket where I'm telling a lot of people to buy it right now is like Shane and Mac. Now you know where Shane and Mac is, nothing but land over there. And that's right. Huh?
And Brightmore.
Yeah, Brightmore too is coming through Brightmore, and Brightmore is also getting $10 million for redevelopment. They announced that like 2020 or 2021. So Brightmore is very, very cheap, and Brightmore still gets like some high Section 8. Like I got 2 bedrooms over there renting for $1,000 and $1,100, and y'all know Brightmore houses are small and frame. But the Joe Louis Greenway, you can just Google it, and their whole website will pop up. The whole map for the city is on there, but they doing it in phases, so you still have time. If any of y'all ever been to Atlanta, the Beltline that they have is exactly what we are recreating. So what the Beltline did for Atlanta is going to do for Detroit. So that's just my little tidbit.
I got one more audience question. She's been patiently waiting.
Absolutely.
Let's let her get that, and you can go into anything from that point. She's been waiting.
Yeah.
Hello, my question is, we have a family apartment complex, and when I'm trying to pull equity out of it, a lot of loan originators, the loan people are telling me they can't do anything if it's 4 units or more. And do I need to get with a broker, or who do I need to get with, because it's more than 4 units, they're always been occupied, 20 plus years. So can I take that property with my residential rental properties and combine them and get a lump sum of money? Or do I have to do those all separate?
Good question. And how many units is your apartment? 8 units? Let's talk. Okay. How long have you owned it for?
Give us
Wow.
a little tea, Eli. Don't let's talk. Tell us something.
Well, we could go, like I mentioned, I got a new lender under my belt where I can go up to 9 units, apartment complex. Now, you looking to pull the cash out? Is it owned free and clear, or do you? Very small home? Okay. So we can pull a cash out close to about, depending on the units, 70-75% in some cases. So definitely get with me. To answer your question, you can't combine commercial, residential, at least for me. I don't know if you guys can do something like that, because the portfolio loan, it has to be all the same type. But for me, separate. So if you own several other properties, 1 loan per address.
But what I will add on for the portfolio loans, or I know we didn't really talk about that, but you can do with these DSCR loans, blanket loans as well over multiple properties. So to that point, you can do, 6 properties all under the same blanket, DSCR, as a portfolio, if that makes more sense than doing them individually. But again, it's all just about what makes the most sense for you. But yeah, like Eli said, DSCR, you go up to 8-9 units, easy, like not much to say easy, but that's definitely something that's in the wheelhouse for DSCR. Anything to that?
All right, so I know we're going over time. Him and I don't want to go over time. But guys, I brought flyers. All my contact information is here. This is everything that we do as well. Again, thank you for your time. I'm Eli at EG Home Loans, right downtown, Renaissance. I got follow me on IG, Facebook as well. Me and Emma are going to do something. Emma, you there? Emma.
Yes, sir.
Listen. I'm going to get on your calendar. Me and Emma are going to put something together for you guys. We're going to start first. So we're doing this in series. We already talked about it this year. We're going to start with the investors, you guys. From A to Z, we're going to go through the whole process. Not just investing in Detroit, but Emma's going to talk about her experience dealing with title from an investor standpoint. I'm going to talk with a lender.
From the lender side, also I work with local real estate agents as well. You're gonna hear from that. My uncle is a home inspector. He's in Detroit every day, working with you guys. You're gonna hear from all sides of the investment process. So that's coming. Be on the lookout for that. And in Asia, me and Asia gonna do something together here too. We ain't talked about it yet, but we're gonna put something together too for you guys. Thank y'all for your time.
Got a couple of housekeeping announcements. First and foremost, we always gotta show some love to the host. So again, Marcus, Detroit Pizza Bar, thank you as always.
Shout out Detroit Pizza Bar.
Shout out to Detroit Pizza Bar. This is a every month, as I said before, this is every month for us. It's the last Friday of the month. Fourth Friday of the month. So whatever the fourth Friday falls on, Real Estate Fridays. I think our topic next month is insurances. We're going to be leaning to insurances. So we're talking health insurance, life insurance, auto insurance, title insurance. So we want to kind of look at that. We'll have probably a similar setup on how they all fold together, how they're viewed differently. Some insurances you could probably use to pull out equity or things like that. So we really want to pick in on that. So again, same setup. We need you guys here. We appreciate you guys. We appreciate you taking time out of your afternoon to come and be in attendance with us. I hope you got some good nuggets. We still have about 30 minutes where you can corner them. And you know how you do, you line up because you want to talk to them and you wait and they make eye contact while they're talking. So we're going to do that. I think we had a couple of guest announcements. Now, a gentleman here just want to tell us about his product, and if someone else has something, we have a few moments, and then we're going to just break it down into open networking. Y'all give them just a few moments. Let them get a network forward. We got some catch up.
What up, everybody? Good evening. My name is Asia Denson. I'm just here basically, like I said, I'm not going to hold you up too long. I know it's already been a long night, long day, and I just need just a few moments of your time. With that being said, I'm coming to you today with a product that is a lender-backed product where we're starting an investors group. In this group, we are planning to revitalize the city of Detroit block by block, and for anyone interested, we do have a QR code here where you can just, of course, you're scanning, send your basic information, name, all that good stuff. And what we will do is we'll have a meeting about 2 to 3 weeks out from today, just in regards to how we're going to proceed forward. But again, we have deals on the table, everything from, well, honestly, we're not really doing too much single family unless it's new development, but we'll be doing duplexes up to apartment complexes. So 30 units, 62, you name it. Like I said, it's a lender-backed program that I'm running. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Oh, my name is Javier Johnson.
Javier Johnson, y'all corner him and scan this QR code. All right, again, we appreciate you. Thank you for coming out. Oh, wait, one more.
Real Estate Lender Association. Check out. Yeah, so RELA Detroit.org.
So Marie?
No, Rella.
Rella. R-E-L-A. What is it?
RELA Detroit.org.
RELA Detroit.org. I'm going to look into it, get the tea, and share y'all. So, again, thank you. Open networking. Enjoy the next half hour.